Hey, good evening. I'm Undrai Fizer, and welcome to Profoundly Speaking. This is what we do every week. We have a candid conversation on relevant spirituality and responsible spirituality. And I'm thankful for those who feel called to listen to my life's work and who find my experiences trustworthy. I really thank you for that. I thank God for that. I'm simply living what's true to me. And I'm glad that you find it trustworthy and useful to listen to. And I pray that you find what you believe trustworthy and doable and honorable. We are help one to another. But it's beautiful when you are already in love with the path yourself and you see this kingdom life as home. And I was talking about that a little bit today. When I was a little kid, when you know where you live, you know what bus to take home. And there was a bus, the 3 Langley, that took me to my door. And if I was somewhere else, I could take the 6 Jensen or the 77 Homestead or whatever. In other words, I knew where I lived. And because I knew where home was, I knew what bus not to get on. I knew what bus to get on. I knew that if I wanted to get to my door, take 3 Langley. I knew that if I put myself in the mind to walk for a little while, I could catch the bus that went to Homestead and I could catch the Jensen bus. I knew that if I put my mind for a walk, for a journey, I knew where to go. And when you know where you are, you won't get on any bus in life. You won't just get on anything and be distracted because you know where home is. You know what time you have and you know where home is. Now that's my life. That's my life, you know. So we talked a little bit about that today. And it was pretty relevant. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you're enjoying the Fizer Interglobal app too. If you haven't downloaded it, go to the App Store or Google Store and download Fizer Interglobal. It's a cool app. We have videos on there, prayer requests, daily notifications, and things like that. And it's helpful for those of you who are living and honoring responsible spirituality. Write that down, responsible spirituality, which means it's a spirituality that you are responsible for. It's not just some testimony service and how you just put it out there and let God do it. No, it's responsible spirituality, which is almost like a boring spirituality because there's no magic and no tricks and no fleas to throw out. It means you are responsible. You are the manifester of what you're believing. You have to pay attention to your belief and your faith and your knowing. You are responsible for manifesting it. You are responsible for believing it and living it. And if it's exciting to hear, it should be exciting to do. If it's exciting to hear a word of faith, it should be more exciting to apply. And if you lose the excitement because you have to live it, then you don't know the word. If it's a word that makes you happy, but you're not happy when you have to live it, then you really don't know the word, because the word should be just as exciting implementing it as it is hearing it. The word should be just as powerful doing it than it is hearing it. It should be powerful, it should be as powerful living it as it is hearing it. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we lose excitement when we have to live it because we have to sort through everything. We have to fix everything. I have to fix it to see if I want it. It's like, the word is good if you are good. And if that's what you love, doing it is just as powerful. You know what I'm saying? How many of you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You own the key to your life. You are just as perfect as you will let yourself be. All of us are. When we live our design, we are just as perfect as we can be when we fall in love with living how we were originally designed. And the reason we don't is we are still emotionally connected to perspective and perception. We are connected to people like me. We're worried about what teachers would say. We're worried about what leaders would say and stuff like that. If you have a great leader and if you have a great teacher, they're going to teach you to believe in yourself. They're going to teach you to believe in God. Any great leader is going to teach you or share with you or be an example of what it's like to believe in God. And what happens is a lot of us as students have thrown away our responsibility and believe in God for the sake of believing the pastor. And so when you throw away faith in God to see what the pastor going to say, you've misaligned your teacher. As a matter of fact, you've allowed yourself to be so handicapped by your teacher that it's like you need the teacher to be held accountable for you not doing something. We've gotten so accustomed to living conveniently comfortable in imperfection, holding the pastor and the leaders in contempt, holding them responsible for our belief, waiting for them to open the gate to say you can do it. And I'm not talking against pastors, I'm one. But when you don't honor yourself and don't honor your own divine design, you will sit there and hold yourself kidnapped and hold yourself hostage at the opinion of people, especially leaders. I'm waiting to see what they're going to think about me doing what I'm doing. And you live that way for years till it becomes a burden and a habit to live just going to work and holding yourself hostage at the permission of a leader. You understand? No, it's not a leader's fault. It's your fault because you haven't figured out where you live. Because when I know where I live, I know what bus I can catch home. I know how to catch a bus to my house, and I know which bus to catch to walk a distance. When you don't know where you live, you don't trust any bus. When you don't know where you live, you're just going to get on the bus going anywhere just to get on there for the ride. But when you know where you live in God, when you know where you live in the kingdom, Jesus said, in my Father's house are mansions, many of them. In my Father's house are mansions. And it says, I go to prepare a place in his mind for you, that where I am, you too will be with me also. And a lot of us look at that like he's going to heaven to fix us a room or a bed and breakfast. But he said, in my Father's consciousness are many places, are many rooms. There's room. And it says, where I am resonating, you will be there also. When you don't know where you live in the Christ mind, you will just catch a bus anyway. When you don't know where you live in the Christ mind, and that's what I mean by responsible spirituality. You need to know where you live in the Christ mind, not pretend to create something right quick. Sometimes we don't trust our truths because it's something we're creating right quick. And so we really don't know if we have the keys because we've just created this wonderful thought right quick. Because we're so busy vacillating, some of us never gave it room to know us. How many of you know where you live in God? Because when you know where you live in God, you know what bus to catch. You don't waste time. And that's why I call this responsible spirituality. It's a spirituality you just can't live and forget and wait until Sunday to start doing something. This is not the type of life you live ignorant of, and then until it's time to meet, now you got to rustle up and come up with something. That's not a good way to live. That's an incompetent way of living your life. That's a very incompetent way of living spiritual. That's a very incompetent and raggedy way in living saved. to just live however you want to live and just kind of get it together. That's not home. That's taking a test with the teacher. That's not living what you love. That's not living in the love of the kingdom. That's living in competition with the pastor. And you were not born to be in competition with a pastor. You were created to learn how to continually give your life to what you love. You understand what I'm saying? It's home. It's home whether it's a storm outside. It's home whether it's food in the house or not. It's home. It's home when the lights are on. It's on. It's home when we have no money. It's home. I just got to get home. You understand what I'm saying? The kingdom is home, but it's only home when that's where love is. It's not home where the test is. It's not home where the right answer is. Home is where love is. And you know when it's home, it's not even a pretty house or ugly house. That's home. I remember when I was a kid, I could go to my friend's house, and some folks had brick houses and some had wood houses. And we could walk in that house and it smelled like Bengay, smelled like pee, and somehow, I'm like, Lord, there's a way you walk, there's a house, there's a way the house smells when you go in there. But that's his house. I done went into my friend's room, and the room dirty socks on the floor, drawers, and he said, "It's my bed." And it's like, wow. Now, I didn't want to stay in it. I was like, okay, let's go back outside. But that's my friend's house. That's home. Drawers on the floor. It smell like pee, smell like ointment. It's home. You hear what I'm saying? Sorry. Well, no, I'm not sorry. We grown. It's home. When it's home, you know where it is. When it's home, you say, man, I'm ready to go home. You don't care if the house stinks. Somebody else's house might stink to you. But to the one who lived there, that's home. They lay in the bed comfortable. Y'all all right? Y'all stop talking when I said, pee in the bed and stuff like that. But it's okay. You feel what I'm saying? When it's home, that's where love is. The kingdom is where love is. The kingdom is not what I'm born to do and who I got to lead. The kingdom is where love is. It's where I was created. I was created in love. Home. That's what it is. You don't have to try to worry about how you're going to do that and this and that. Let me tell you something. If you believe what you say, you're going to always do it. You don't need permission from anybody. You can live what you are. You can live it if you know it. You don't need no one to let you do it, because perception and perspective is keeping us from being perfect. Jesus said, be perfect for my Father is perfect. Be perfect. In other words, live your design. But our design is being held in contempt by what somebody else will think about it. And we've been saying this for so long, God. And then we try to get bold to say how much we know our work and I'm fixing to do it. And we hype ourselves up only not to do it, because we don't want nobody to take our boldness the wrong way. We have to explain the reason we're talking bold now, because we don't want to offend. And so the spirit of consideration keeps us from manifestation. The spirit of consideration keeps us from divine manifestation. The spirit of consideration keeps us from transformation. The spirit of consideration keeps us from metamorphosations. I made that word up. The spirit of consideration keeps us from transformation. It keeps us from manifestation. Who's going to say what? All of our perfection is being held hostage by someone else. And we gave them the key, because I think we don't want to do it anyway. And sometimes when we don't want to live our perfection, we need somebody to blame for it. We are keeping close to certain people to hinder us from doing it. We need people to detour us from purpose. We need others. We need to be needed to have so we can give up what we need to see for ourselves so we can go help somebody. Sometimes your biggest enemy is helping other people, especially when it comes at the expense of helping you. Sometimes helping other people is an excuse to not help yourself. Sometimes you will give the shirt off your back so you won't know the robe you're already wearing. Some of you will give the shirt off your back so you won't see the clothedness of the kingdom on your own back. So you won't see the responsibility of your own kingship. You'll give it away. Sometimes we will overhelp so we won't have time to help ourselves. Sometimes we'll go everywhere far so we won't have time to devote to ourselves. So sometimes your biggest enemy is helping other people. Sometimes your biggest enemy is helping other people, because if I could help somebody, then maybe God can bless me for helping them, but you are not helped at all. And you're mad because nobody's helping you. You follow what I'm saying? Why don't you know what, I can't tell you what to do because I don't know what fuel is in your car. I don't know how you fuel yourself. But if you think for yourself, how many of you think for yourself? I know you fear for yourself and I know you doubt for yourself. But how many of you actually think for yourself and live your thinking? How many of you actually think for yourself and you live your thinking? You think for yourself and you live your thinking. You see, I had spiritual fathers. A lot of my spiritual fathers, they passed away. And I honored them enough to respect them while not annihilating my original identity. I can submit to my spiritual mentors without annihilating my originality. I knew how to submit to them without throwing myself away. I could think for myself while thinking what they're telling me. I could implement what they're saying and without throwing away thinking for myself. A lot of us throw our thinking away to be conformed by a person because we are too afraid to live our thoughts. We are afraid of the consequences of living our thoughts. We are afraid of what consequences will arise if we live our thoughts. That's the only way to power. That's the only way to leadership, is for you to embrace the consequence of your own thought. For you to embrace the trouble that comes with thinking for yourself. For you to embrace the judgment that comes for thinking for yourself. For you to embrace the pain and the struggle that come with you thinking for yourself. Because we want perfect thoughts. We want to make sure if we think it, we don't get ostracized for it. We're trying to make sure if we think it that nobody hates us. We're trying to think without being hated. I'm trying to think for myself without breaking covenant. I'm trying to think for myself without people leaving me. But sometimes that's the only thing you can do. Because once I started thinking for myself, people left. Forget them leaving. I left. So it's not a matter who's going to leave you. Sometimes you're going to leave. So it's not a matter who's going to judge you. Sometimes you judge. We are afraid of fingers being pointed to us and for people to question us. But sometimes that's what you have to endure when you want to think for yourself. Because the more you're obligated to other people's perception, you're going to stay sitting in the car talking to yourself, talking to your enemies and talking to your friends in the car to yourself. Talking to yourself what you wish you can say to somebody else, but you can't say it. So you'll say it to yourself till you actually thought you said it. No, think for yourself. You have faith to think for yourself and to know God yourself. Don't just say, I know God for myself so you could run away from so you could get away from accountability. No, once you know God for yourself, God will know you. So you can live this life. once you stop holding people to blame. You can live this life once you remove people from contempt. You can live it once you hold yourself to a relevant spirituality. God ain't looking for a testimony from you. He's looking for relevance. He's looking for responsible spirituality. A spirituality that makes you responsible for the manifestations of it. He's not looking for you to do a little something good and then he gonna come and fix the rest. No, you build it. You grow it. You plant it. You plant the seed of the word in you and you grow it and you nurture it and you grow it and you plant it and you feed from it and you plant it again and you feed from it and you plant it again. Sometimes when we don't love a thing, we'll do just enough. But when you love a thing, you'll keep coming home. You'll keep going home. You won't do it one time and let it speak for itself. You will keep doing it. You will continue to practice it. But when there is no love, there is no practice. When there is no true love, it's just competitive intellectualism. I'm trying to see how well I can think about this and do this. You don't have to think that much and that hard for something you love. You have to free yourself from competitive intellectualism. We're trying to figure out if we want to. You don't have to do your heart like that. When you love, you love. When you lust, you lust. You don't have to try to perfect and see how. You don't have to. When it's love, when it's home, it's home. You don't have to, let me see, I'm trying to see how far. You don't have to do that with God. It's almost like we're afraid to really be committed to this. It's almost like we're afraid to really be committed to this. We don't trust ourselves enough to be consistent with it because we're trying to find a wiggle room and an option where we could go and not go when we want. Listen, when you love something, you throw away the option. This is where I'm going. You're not trying to see how long do I have to stay. That's how it feels when we feel obligated to go to a meeting, when we feel we owe somebody, but we don't want to stay. But we feel we owe them. So at least let me respect them by going, but I don't want to stay. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. This person has done so much for me. They've done so much on my behalf. I haven't really done enough. I feel I owe them a visit, but I really don't want to stay. So you have to think of a way to go, honor them, and leave. I don't want to stay. How many of you think that way about God? You think God done just done so much for you and so much for you and so much for you that I'll go, but I don't want to stay, but I want to at least respect him because he's done so much. You hear what I'm saying? Whenever you feel you have to obligate somebody with a token visit, but I can't stay. Listen, when you want to be there, you will stay. And you will not only stay, you will get something from it. How many of you want to be in that house? He said, in my Father's house are mansions. And if it wasn't true, I wouldn't say it. He says, I'm going to prepare a place for you that where I am, you will be there too. How many of you want to be there? I want to stay. I'm not paying you back for my job and for rescuing me from COVID and from the wreck I had. I don't want to stay, but the least I could do is show my face. I don't want to show my face with God. I want to stay. Am I making sense, guys? I want to stay. I want to stay. I don't want a token visit. Don't leave the door open so I can leave. I really thank you, but I don't want to sit down and hear nothing. But since you're giving me something, the least I could do is come to your little meeting and sit in the chair a little bit so you could add me to the picture when you put it on Facebook. You follow me? God don't need you to show up so he could take a picture, so he could show the people that people are actually coming to his meetings. Let me show you these pictures so you can see I'm not here by myself. God don't need a selfie to show the rest of the world that he's not there by himself? Do you want to stay? I want to stay. I don't need him to give me an option. And whenever you don't want to stay, you have to try to figure out how long to stay before you get up to leave, before it looks disrespectful. How long do I get to sit here? And when am I going to get that text that'll give me the permission to get up and leave? When will I'm going to bring my friend with me, so when my friend get up, I can follow and it won't look as bad. Some of us, and I'm going to close, some of us, we come to God with a friend. So that friend could be our permission to get up and go, because we don't want to habitat with this kingdom. So if I get a friend that could be my partner, when he or she get up, I could follow them out, and God can't just focus on me. He got to focus on my friend. Some of us live like that. You understand what I'm saying? I want to stay. So if I do go with a friend and my friend leave, I'm like, well, go. I want to stay. I want to stay here in this divine mind. Jesus said, for where I am, you're going to be with me. I go to my Father's home, which is your home. I'm going home. I know what bus to catch. I know how to get there. I'm not going to catch a downtown bus when I live on Lockwood. I know what bus to catch. I know what to catch. I'm going to catch 3 Langley. And if 3 Langley is running late, I'm going to catch the Homestead. I got to put it in my mind to walk, but it'll put me in the vicinity. I got to catch 6 Jensen. Now, it ain't where I live, but it's in my vicinity. I ain't catching no other bus. I'm not catching a Pleasantville bus to go to Lockwood. I'm not going to catch a Rosewood bus. I know what to catch to go home. In my Father's house, I know what to catch. I know what word to use. And I know the word to use even if I have to walk for a little while. I know what I'm going home. I'm not visiting with a friend. So when I love it, I don't need permission to leave. I'm going to stay. Raise your hands if you know what I'm talking about. See, when I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do it, and if I want to, then that ain't home. I don't need to figure out nothing. When it's home, I want to stay. I don't have to figure my heart out when it's home. Am I making sense? When it's home, I don't have to question my heart if I want to. Some of us are going through this battle, this mental battle of commitment. I'm like, why don't you just give up and go do something else? God don't have time to wait for you to figure out if you want to do. Jesus never chose anybody who had to go and ask permission to follow him. He would say, come with me. And if you said, I may go ask my daddy, Jesus kept going. Jesus never chose anybody who had to ask everybody else. Jesus never chose anybody who had to go and ask everybody else. Jesus never chose anybody for the kingdom who had to go and ask permission from somebody else. Jesus never chose anybody to walk with him who had to go and ask somebody else if it was all right. He left you there. Jesus never said, I'll be here when you get back. Jesus, now see, that's, we can go to church, but church ain't kingdom. Church is church. I'll wait for you. You want to go to church? Well, I'm out here waiting for you. But taking you to church and taking you to the kingdom are 2 different things. Oh, I'll wait for you to come outside to go to church, but I'm not patient when it comes to going to the kingdom. There's a difference between waiting on somebody to go to church and waiting on somebody to go to the kingdom. Jesus never waited for you to come to the kingdom. Or he'll wait to take you to a building, but nobody waiting to take you to the kingdom. Did y'all understand that? Yeah, we'll wait. I'm running late. You can run late for church, but don't run late for the kingdom. You can run late for the revival, But some of us are running late for the kingdom now. And Jesus never waited on anybody who was running late for the kingdom. He said, follow me now. He would walk, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to let you go. He would walk and say, follow me, and expected you to get up and come on. That's the kingdom. And if you say, let me go ask my daddy, let me go ask my mama, let me go tell them goodbye, he said, you're not fit to walk with me. Yeah, don't run late for that's right, Trent. Don't run late for the kingdom. I'll honk the horn and wait 15 minutes because we're going to church. But I can't wait. See, some of you have failed the kingdom because you're waiting on other people for the kingdom. You're waiting for other people to get ready for the kingdom till you lost your opportunity for it. Waiting for other people for the kingdom. Let me tell you something. I'll wait on my kids. We go to a meeting. But when it comes to the kingdom, I can't wait on you. I can't wait on my wife. I can't wait on my kids. I can't wait on my friends. I can't wait on my students. I can't wait for you for kingdom. Because that's not a place where friends go to together. The kingdom is not a place where friends go to together. And then when my friend get up, I'm walking out. My friend is there to give me the signal. You know, that's how it is. Y'all go to a club, you go out somewhere, you bring your girlfriend with you, so we gonna go there and we gonna follow you out. No. The kingdom is where you go to yourself. You don't wait for your daughter to go. We're gonna go together. No, that's for you to go. Churches, we could go as a family unit, but you can't go to the kingdom as a unit. That's for you. That's for you. But I'm hollering, am I? Yeah, it's the truth. Jesus never chose anybody who had to get permission from somebody. He never chose anybody who had to get permission from somebody. Church is one thing. The kingdom is another. So before I go, I'm not trying to bring you to church. I'm trying to lead you to the kingdom. I'm not waiting on you to go to church. Yeah, I'm a pastor, but that ain't my thing. I'm not trying to get people to the church. I'm trying to get you to the kingdom. And I don't need a Sunday to get you to the kingdom. The kingdom is open whenever you hear home. The kingdom is not a Sunday morning altar call. The kingdom is whenever you hear the invitation to come home. The kingdom is not what you offer at the end of a message. No, our membership is, but not the kingdom. I can't put a right hand of fellowship and usher you into the kingdom. You need to shake God's hand yourself to come into this dimension. I'm telling you, I'm not trying to get you to the church. I'm not trying to invite anybody to my church. I'm trying to help people remember the kingdom. And if you need help and if you need friends to affirm you for it, you ain't fit for it. Oh, you fit for church. You're not fit for the kingdom. Jesus said, if you got to ask somebody else, if you put your hands to the plow and look back to consideration, he said, you're not ready for the kingdom. You ready for church, but you ain't ready for the kingdom. And it ain't no way I got to get to church to get to the kingdom. Jesus taught the kingdom before he was crucified. See, we need Jesus to die to teach salvation. But Jesus didn't have to die to teach the kingdom. Now, he had to die for you to teach salvation. But Jesus was teaching the kingdom before he died. He said you needed that before the cross. And if you need that before the cross, my God, come on now. Let me drink a little something. Jesus, when he died, you could teach the death and salvation. But the kingdom was taught before the cross. And he says that you could have received that. You didn't have to wait for him to die. The kingdom is a truth you could receive anytime. Nobody needs to die for you to receive the kingdom. You understand? Yeah. Hey, you can look at it yourself. So before I go, I didn't come to have a church service with you. And maybe that's how come a lot of people don't want to show up because it ain't church. And it's cool. But when you're ready for the kingdom, that's what I'm for. I'm ready to show you the kingdom. And he said, to walk in this kingdom, you can't be considerate of other opinions. You can't be considerate of other perspectives. You need to pay attention to yourself. You need to pay attention to your own self. You feel me? Hey, thanks for joining me today. That's right, show up for the kingdom. You may be late for church, but don't be late for the kingdom. I'll wait for you if we're going to church. I can't wait for you for the kingdom. I can't wait. I can't wait for you. Okay? Hey, if you want to sow an offering of any kind, you can do so today. $ Coach Fizer. Or if you have the Fizer Interglobal app, go to the investment page on there on the link where it says invest, and you could sow a seed of any kind. You could go to my website at undraifizer.com, or you could give offerings through the app, okay? So whatever you feel. Sow whatever you feel. Because when you go to the store, even if you got $2, you're going to buy $1 worth of stuff. You know what you're getting with that $2. You're not just going to get anything and walk out. You're going to buy what you could afford. So I appreciate you for coming to the storehouse and hearing something you could afford. I don't sell the truth. We invest in the truth. I don't sell God. You can't buy God. You just sow into the house, okay? And I'm praying for you to live your original life. Some of us on here talking about living my best life, but it ain't your best life if you don't know yourself. If you don't know who you are, you can never live your best life until you live your first life. If you're living any other life other than your first life, you're not living your best life. You may be living a good life, but you're not living your best life. Okay? So get that app, Fizer Interglobal. It's in the App Store, and it's in the Google Store, and it's really cool too. There's little videos on there, and you can watch teachers. The teachers about 40 seconds long, but they really give you something to think about, and we got a lot of videos on there. Okay? So I love you much, and thanks for being with us. Until next time, peace. Bye-bye.